What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, we're going to be discussing the rumors about Julio Jones and a potential trade from the Falcons, and how Albert Breer says that the Patriots are a possible team in the sweepstakes for Julio Jones. Now, man, I feel like I have heard the Julio Jones trade talks for years now, and I mean years. I even remember there was a point about a year ago, maybe a year and a half to 2 years, where there was pretty heavy talks about Julio Jones and a trade to the Patriots. And then, of course, you just hear the Falcons come out and say, nah, we're not going to trade him. But before you guys say it's not going to happen, do know that teams have reportedly called the Falcons about Julio Jones. No surprise. And the Falcons are actually listening this time. They're not shutting it down. They're not saying that they aren't going to trade him. They're officially listening to these offers for Julio Jones, which, look, if you're a Falcons fan, obviously you don't love to see it. Julio Jones has been kind of a big point to their franchise for years, but he just doesn't seem to be being utilized, and he's 32 years old. You're not going to get any more out of him than, draft capital wise. You're not going to get anything more out of him than you are right now. He's just going to continue to get older, and if you aren't going to utilize him, his stock is just going to continue to drop. I would actually say that a year or two ago would probably have been the best time to trade him, because that's when his stock was higher. His stock has definitely dropped at this point. Now, currently, we don't know exactly what that asking price is for Julio Jones, but I would definitely expect it to be at least a first-round pick. Do I necessarily agree with that? No, just because he's not the receiver I would say he once was, or at least he's not being utilized in that way. Don't get me wrong, I still very much like Julio Jones, and I think with the right team, he could still very much be a dominant wide receiver. But with some mock trade packages that I've seen, even one that I'm looking at right here on FanSide, they have the Bears getting Julio Jones, and then the Falcons getting a 2022 first-round pick and a 2021 second-round pick. If it came down to the Patriots having to give a first-round pick for Julio Jones, I would say nada. Nope, not going to happen. The Patriots have a clear-cut need at quarterback. You go and you get that guy first. It doesn't matter if you get Julio Jones, because essentially, who's going to be throwing to him? Cam Newton's on a one-year deal. We're going to be in the same situation if we don't get a quarterback next year. And also, the Patriots are sitting at 15th overall. That is too high in my book. Too high. Way too high to give for a 32-year-old Julio Jones. Now, if we're talking about second, third, fourth round, later rounds other than the first, okay, we can start having a conversation. I would ship off a second round pick. I would ship off a third round pick. We start to get into that conversation into something else. But if we're talking about having to give up a first round pick, I'm just not into it. Now, everyone's question would be, all right, well, what would Julio Jones bring to the Patriots? And in a nutshell, he would be what the Patriots wanted out of a N'Keal Harry. He would be your fast receiver on the outside. You would have your number one receiver, and you would have an outside receiver, which I think is actually a pretty big need for the Patriots. I know that they're going to try Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers on the outside, but you really just don't have that true, pure outside receiver. Sitting at 6'3", 220 pounds, and having ran a 4.3 40-yard dash, Julio Jones would bring every single aspect to that for the Patriots. Now, like I said, I feel like I haven't heard as much about Julio Jones as I have had in recent years, but he still has had very, very good seasons. In 2020, just this past year, he appeared in only 9 games. He was targeted a total of 68 times, 51 receptions, 771 yards, averaging 15.1 yards per reception, and 3 touchdowns. In 2019, he appeared in 15 games with 157 targets, 99 receptions, 1,394 yards, 14.1 yards per reception, and 6 touchdowns. He has had 1,000 yards plus receiving 7 out of his 10 seasons. One of those seasons, he put up 1,800 yards. And I mean, again, just in 2019, he made a Pro Bowl and he put up 1,300 yards. Despite him being silent but deadly, he definitely still has it in the tank. But, you also have to understand, too, is that the Falcons have a very good offense. They have Ridley, they have Matt Ryan, they have Hayden Hurst. Like, they have good pieces there also. So it's not like Julio Jones is just that only guy for them to target. And I know that Matt Ryan has become very, very fond of Ridley also. In all honesty, it wouldn't surprise me if a trade ended up not occurring, and this was just another one of those years where we get closer and closer to hearing that Julio Jones is going somewhere else, but just doesn't. I will say this, is that I do feel if he goes to another team that he will get more praised, he will get more recognition, because in all honesty, I just don't feel like right now with the Falcons, he is getting that recognition he deserves. But I know that as of late, the past couple seasons, he has dealt with some injury concerns also, which does make sense as he is getting older again at 32 years old. That is going to be one of the very big things that brings down his draft stock, is the fact that he is 32 years old. He only has so many more years left in the NFL. As a wide receiver, 32 is like playing at 40. But again, ultimately, I do just believe that there's going to be another team that outbids the Patriots. Is going to be like, oh, here's our first round pick and potentially more, versus the Patriots, who again, I think, if this was a year where we had Tom Brady or we already had a quarterback, then I'd be all for it. But we need to solidify that future at quarterback, and you're going to need those assets to potentially trade up to grab your guy. And again, you need quarterback before you need wide receiver. Maybe the Patriots could do some type of package deal where they give him N'Keal Harry. Maybe the Falcons can, utilize N'Keal Harry like they have Julio Jones and get more out of him than the Patriots have the past couple of years, and then they can throw in, another pick. But like I said, I just think there's going to be teams that offer a first round pick and potentially more and just could outbid the Pats. But of course, crazier things have happened. The Patriots do need depth still at wide receiver. The Patriots need an outside receiver. They need a guy who can be a number one receiver. Julio Jones fits all these boxes, and the Patriots have had talks with the Falcons in the past for Julio Jones. So because of those factors, it will still be something to watch if you are a Patriots fan. Now, to end this video off, I do want to talk real quick about the sponsors of this video, betonline.ag. Now, BetOnline has the fastest and the easiest ways to bet on all of your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are a full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV, along with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline also has you covered for all of the news, scores, and odds, and it is the best way to place your bets, and it's completely free to sign up. All you guys got to do is head to their website or use your mobile device right now to sign up today and receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. This is BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Do not sit on the sidelines anymore. Get in with the action, and don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% off welcome bonus with your first deposit. What are your thoughts on Julio Jones and all these trade talks? Do you think it will happen? What do you think about him going to the Patriots? Let me know all of your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Also, make sure you guys leave a big like on this video. Helps me in the YouTube algorithm out tremendously and making more videos like this in the future. And subscribe to the channel, of course, for all of your New England Patriots news and draft coverage for this upcoming weekend for the 2021 NFL Draft. Like always, though, I appreciate each and every single one of you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.